Hey, I'm Dr. Nelson Moses. Hi, everybody. And I am a speech language clinician, and my colleague here is,
Kimberly OSAM. I'm also a speech language clinician. Welcome, everyone.
hey, and we're presently writing a book together. And that book is entitled, I'm going to I'm doing the production here, everybody. So bear with me. Being a speech language clinician, things to know, things to be puzzled about, and stories that need to be told. Hope that appeared as cool as it looked to me.
It did look cool.
Yeah. Kimberly is in Virginia. I'm here in New York. In writing the book and working on this book, we've been having conversations about topics that we've been writing about, and we thought the information that we were talking about and the conversations themselves might be of interest to folks who are either in the field uh, as op working as speech language clinicians or people we um, who are coming to us for services and that we're working with because we're each clinicians and we actually do work with people and or students at least speaking for myself, I'm a professor on top of being a clinician, and I've been doing professor stuff for the past, what, 35 years. Actually, it's probably even longer. So we thought that we would invite everybody into our conversations and maybe, uh, share ideas about things that are, from our points of view, both interesting and quite complex. Kimberly, comments?
I'd just like to welcome everyone and let them know that here in historic Fredericksburg, Virginia, I'm here with my autistic son, who is the reason why I'm a speech language clinician. So if you hear kind of an electronic voice from the background, that's just him using his communication device. And if you hear Elsa in the background, that is his favorite, and it does play in our home all day long. So, in front of that backdrop, I just hope to speak about things that make things that we do in our profession serve folks like my son. That's my reason why.
Cool. I have fish on I have fish over here. I did turn off the the filter, which was bubbling around, and I have a couple of dogs behind me, so you might hear that in the background, particularly the dogs. The fish may be screaming, but they're in the water, so you don't hear them very much. Any event, welcome. Concerning the fish,
Okay. Speaking of fish and bubbles, that's exactly how I felt when I started to pursue looking for help for my son. Felt like a fish out of water, and I felt like he was in a bubble. No one really knew how to help him. And so I started this journey to become a speech language clinician to make sure that at least if nobody else could, I could help him.
let me tell you what we're planning to do over the next in this podcast. Our goals are to provoke puzzlement about an understanding of language and speech, complicated things, by the way, from our points of view, and we've got lots to say about that. To support underserved, underrepresented communities, culturally, linguistically, and neurodiverse, to promote diversification of our profession and best practices, to defeat ableism, yes, ableism, we'll clarify that point, and to eliminate one way or the highway thinking, right and wrong, good and bad, etc. Let me add one more thing we wish to accomplish here on this podcast, and perhaps the most important thing we would like to accomplish, and that is to give you some ideas that might be useful, that you might find helpful in supporting individuals who either come to you for service for speech language issues, or those of you who are significant others your significant other comes to you for support. Uh, we've had a number of years of professional experience and have some ideas that are evidence-based and that we're planning to share over the coming episode.
Doctor Moses.
Well, watch your head. Be careful. Be careful. Uh-oh. Oh, look who's inside. Wow. That's big.
Yeah, that's totally big.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me. Yeah, go ahead.
The troll was run in on the bridge, and I think the mean and hungry troll is on the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens?
The first Billy Goat tripped 4 times up the bridge.
Yes.
And help me.
Oh, you want him to ride on the rope?
Yeah.
I have an idea. Get on the table. Can you reach it? Oh, he fell. Oh, there he goes. Can you make him go all the way to that side? How are you going to do it? Wow. Go, squirrel. Oh, no. Can you make him go all the way to that side? Go ahead.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Okay, now you see how they look? Like this? Watch, I'm going to jumble them up. Now I want you to make them just the way I had them. Do them exactly the way you saw me do them before. Okay? The way I did it. Exactly.
I made points.
That's an example of the kinds of activities and interactions that I have been creating and engaging in over the course of my career with very young children and with youngsters across the school age. Kimberly and I are planning to use this podcast to present suggestions for activities that are evidence-based and that we have found effective in our work. We're also planning to invite you, our viewers, to join us and perhaps help us create a forum for innovative and effective interventions in the field of speech, language, and hearing, even extending to feeding and swallowing. Hey, Kimberly, can you give our viewers some background regarding your professional history?
Oh, sure. I have had the privilege to work across many different settings. Um, when I did my clinicals, I was able to work in private practice, also in the schools, and rehab. For my clinical fellowship, I was able to work in a rehabilitation hospital. And then when I finished my clinical fellowship, continued and still do work at a rehabilitation hospital. I also work in the home health setting, and I am also launching my own private practice where I can do virtual and then also some in person and hopefully to expand to a clinic. So I'm just excited to be able to work across all of those settings and also pretty much across the lifespan. I've treated from early intervention all the way through. My oldest patient that I've treated to date has been 102. And so I'm excited to work across all of the different settings across the lifespan pretty much, and then also across the different modalities of speech, treating speech, language, voice, swallowing, and cognition. So I wouldn't trade any one piece of it. I I do admit being the parent of an autistic son that AAC technology, the devices are one of my specialties, and also the Lee Silverman voice treatment. And so all of those things I really enjoy doing. And I've been a speech language clinician since 2021 when I had my provisional license. And now I have my full certification. I've had that for, I believe it's about 3 years now. And I'm just excited. I'm new to the field, but kind of in my mind, not so new because I've been sitting in speech sessions with my son since he was like 2 and he's now 14. So I think that I have the unique perspective to have seen speech and tried to kind of figure out, well, why are we doing this? Why is he being asked to do this? Why is he not responding to this in some cases? And then to be able to see it from the other side to kind of tweak ways that would not only support him, but other individuals. And so I think I've been very, very blessed to see kind of all the way across what we do. And how about you? I know.
Me. Okay, it's my turn. I began my career as a speech language clinician way back in another century. It was 1972. And I had my first clinical job at a position at Willowbrook State School in Staten Island, New York. Some of you who are joining us today may remember that Willowbrook was ground zero for the deinstitutionalization movement here in the United States. Deinstitutionalization refers to the fact that until 1975 or so, the people with developmental and other types of quote unquote disabilities were actually removed from their homes and communities and relocated in institutions which are best described as prison-like settings. I'll have a lot to say about Willowbrook State School and the history of IDEA legislation that came out of that as we go along on these podcasts. Just to say, I worked at Willowbrook from 1972 to 1975, 3 years, and that experience changed my entire perspective on this profession of speech and language, where I recognized first that this profession is about civil rights, especially the right of individuals to express what's on their minds. It also changed my perspective on the people we serve. I learned more from the children that I worked with at Willowbrook about speech and language and what we now call languaging. I also learned to assume competence about people who I had been taught had lots of difficulties. We'll get into that as we go along here. I moved on from Willowbrook to the New York City Department of Education. In those days, the City Board of Education, where I began working with also children with developmental disabilities and teachers to support language work in the classroom. And I've maintained a relationship with the New York City Department of Education right through until this very day, these very days, where I am working with folks from District 6 in the Bronx, South Bronx, New York, and University Heights High School on literacy work with a wonderful principal, Hazel Roseborough, and my colleagues up there, Helena Hawkshaw and Angela Carey, speech supervisors, and really wonderful folk. Hopefully, you'll meet them right here, as guests on this podcast one of these days. I ultimately got into higher education, initially working at really New York University, where I earned my doctoral degree and served as a teaching assistant and a graduate assistant. Back in the day, I moved on to Monmouth College, now called referred to as Monmouth University in New Jersey, and then Rutgers University, and then Long Island University, Brooklyn, where I retired, from which I retired about 45, about several months ago. But I still have lots to say, so here I am. At Long Island University, I was the founder, along with two wonderful colleagues, Dr. Sylvia Walters and Dr. Elaine Geller. And we developed back in 1995 a program that was addressed bilingualism and diversity in the profession, because we needed to prepare a diverse student body to join the profession, which historically has mainly been white middle class uh, participants, clinicians working with diverse and often bilingual client base. Again, I'll have way more to say about that as we go along here. Um, I did uh, I do research in the area of cognitive development, and these days, the term I am using for language is languaging. In fact, that will be the topic of our next uh, podcast, the first actual topic relevant to speech language assessment and intervention. And I don't want to omit the work that I have done with Dr. Harriet Klein. We did a series of books on intervention planning for children and adults with communication problems. I'm quite proud of that work. Also, the work I have done with Dr. David Shapiro on developmental stages that clinicians go through as they learn, clinicians in this field of speech and language, as they learn to navigate complex information uh, into this very complex field. Again, this has all been quite fulfilling for me, and I hope to have an opportunity to go through some of this material with you as we progress on this I, podcast series. I keep wanting to call this iPod or iPad or something like that. Podcast series. So that's pretty much me. In a nutshell, I'll have much more to say over time. Kimberly, it's a wonderful pleasure to be working with you here, and I'm looking forward to continuing on and getting these shows rolling. Actually, Kimberly and I were just reviewing the video clips that we did up to this point, uh, and I think Kimberly, as I watch her present, is a much more polished speaker than myself, quite frankly. Here I am turning around and moving around and all these things, and I'm saying to myself, and I said to Kimberly, uh, that I'm not sure that's a professional presentation, but Kimberly had some comments to make about that. Kimberly.
I said that perception of that being unprofessional, it just kind of lends to something that is not affirming. It's not affirming to the speaker. Sometimes when we communicate, we use our hands, we use our movements, we use our body to get our point across. That's how we communicate. It's kind of ableist to say that we shouldn't do that. And so part of what we're aiming to do here is to kind of take a deep look at ableism and really kind of flesh out what is that. And I think that when we see it and when we try to say, well, that's how someone should be, is that really how they should be? They should be themselves. And so if Dr. Moses needs to move around or lean into the camera or use his hands to communicate, that's who he is.
Make Yes, that makes sense. So at least that's nice of you, Kimberly. Uh, but yeah, ableism is all about there's a particular standard that everybody should meet, and it's the typical some kind of a typical speech standard. I don't know who invented what's typical, but somebody did out there, or a whole bunch of people did, usually people in power. And there's a lot of, we will be speaking about something called speech and language from the angle of languaging. In fact, that'll be the next and really the first real topic that we want to get into. And I appreciate the accommodation to my approach to speaking, which is not as comfortable perhaps as others. And it does always involve a lot of moving hand gestures, this, that, and the other thing. So please bear with me on that. Thanks, Kimberly, for the support. And cool, that's cool.
And I'll say, Dr. Moses, even in my own website for my private speech language company, I have a picture of my son on there stimming because I want people to see that. There's no reason why people should not see that. If that's something that he needs to do to regulate, there shouldn't be so-called typical pictures representing a population who needs speech services. Yes, there might be some in that population who need services who present a certain way, but we also need to show the ones who present in a different way. It's just different.
Thank you.